Hey there, welcome back to the vlog. If you guys are interested in investing in the Aputure 120D, you're gonna wanna stick around for the pros and cons list that we're about to make. Let's do it. All right, so Aputure finally got around to sending me my 120D. I ordered it from Amazon. It took a few extra days. I don't know why it wasn't the 2-day shipping that I've become so accustomed to, but it got here and I'm very excited about it. I've actually had the thing for about 2 weeks now, but I wanted to wait to make this review so I could go through and, kind of test its functionality and go through, all of the quirks and pros and cons and everything that I think about this light, because I wouldn't want to, suggest that you invest in this light just because a few big name guys on YouTube use it. Let's get into some specifics of the light and we'll go through some pros, cons, price point, things like that. So, here we go. All right, so here we are. We're talking about the pros and the cons of the Aputure 120D. Right off the bat, I can tell you one of the cons is price. So the light itself is like 650 bucks. And that's pretty expensive for one singular light, but then on top of that, you have to invest another $160 into the light dome, or the big softbox, that big round thing that looks awesome. It really does soften the light, and it's very important. If that thing was not on there, this thing would be blasting me in the face, and there would be just terrible shadows everywhere. Another 160. Sure, you can go out there and you can invest just as much money in different lights. If you're looking at, picking up an RE kit, or, you're looking at like a Lowell kit, or anything like that, Kino Flows. Yeah, you can spend a buttload of money on lights and things like that. But for this one particular light, I kind of was it's expensive. I mean, that's all there is to it. Can't really say much more than that. It's expensive. People online were saying that they were having trouble with the V-mount battery that goes into the back and powers this thing like out in the field. Like it'll turn on for like 10 seconds and then it'll completely shut off. So we got price and we've got trouble going battery powered. So people say. The softbox gives off amazingly soft, just beautiful, amazing light. I really love this thing. It's awesome. The fact that it's daylight balanced, that's huge. That is the huge pro. That's awesome, because shooting with daylight balanced lights really is more efficient for me, because I would have to go and, get curtains or big blankets or something to like block out all this light. And then I would need a ton of tungsten lights to really, light me and my studio. So it's really nice to be able to leave my window open a crack, get some fill light coming in. I only have this one light right now that's like lighting me. I do have another LED light right behind me that is lighting our background back there. And I have, like I said, this bank of windows right in this general area. That is, kind of giving some ambient light to the studio. Remote controlled. That's another pro. So, what is the practicality of having a remote controlled light? Yes, it's right there. I can touch it. I'm touching it right now. Why do I need a remote control to turn on and off this light? Well, here's the thing. When you're on YouTube and you make your own videos and you don't have a crew of people, you sit here and you judge, does the lighting look good? Does the lighting look good? Does it need to be a little bit more dim? Does it need to be a little bit more bright? When I was first looking at this light, I was like, I'm not gonna need the remote control. That's just weird, that's just laziness. I'm not gonna need it. I have become very accustomed to using it because it is quite handy. So there is this rumor out there that LED lights don't get hot. And for the most part, they don't. There are mechanisms inside of this thing that really do generate some heat. and there is, an exhaust port, and there's a fan. It is so silent that I couldn't even hear it. So that's awesome. Silent fan. Let's talk about another temperature. I'm talking about the temperature that your subject is going to experience. So if you've ever done any work in a studio with tungsten lights, you know that those things get hot. And I'm talking like scorch the earth, fires of hell type of hot. It's terrible. Everybody sweats. You got to call in makeup to powder somebody's face 1,000 times, dry their face off and powder their face so they don't sweat anymore. There's just like this glistening and things like that. That doesn't happen with LED lights, and it's the most amazing thing ever. If I had a tungsten source, equivalent to this, 1.5 feet from my face, I would be dripping sweat. Skin would be melting off my face. It wouldn't be a good look. Let's put this under the pros category. Let's call it ambient temperature. That's awesome. Now let's talk about the power of this thing. This thing is the equivalent of a 1,000 watt light. This thing is extremely powerful. Let's go ahead and we'll jack this thing up the whole way. This is what I'm talking about. This thing is ultra powerful. It's crazy. That thing is bright. That thing is like super, super bright. It is the sun. I have the sun in my studio. It's crazy. Let's talk about the power that this thing draws. So if you have a 1,000 watt tungsten lamp, it's pretty even that way. It draws about 1,000 watts of power from your wall, from your source, from the outlet. This light only draws 200 watts of power. So in order to completely max out or trip a breaker or something like that, I would have to plug in somewhere between 9 and 10 of these into an outlet. These things draw such little power. And to put it into perspective, a toaster, your little toaster that sits in your kitchen, that thing, while it's on, draws between 800 and 1,500 watts of power. So that's crazy. This giant light that almost set me on fire basically only draws 1/4 of what a toaster draws. So that's pretty awesome. So one of the really cool features about this light, and I didn't understand it at first, was the separate lighting and light controller. It just makes the light very lightweight, easy to move. The portability is very nice, especially if you're just kind of moving things into place. Staging some things. You don't have to carry this giant heavy light or anything like that. So it's going in the pros category. The other thing about this light that is extremely cool is the fact that it comes with its own case. Now, I think that it should come with its own case because the thing was, let me add this up here, about $820 total for the light and the softbox. Very good. That's nice. So we'll put that in the pros category. It's nice. It has a shoulder strap. All the components of this light go ahead and just fit right into such a nice little compact carrying case. I'm an old school guy. I really, really like tungsten lights, but I gotta tell you, this thing has totally converted me. I am completely Team LED at this point. I'm actually only Team Aputure LED at this point because, it's such a great looking light. But if you take a look at this pros and cons list, we've got all of these pros to just a few cons. So if you guys are planning on spending a couple bucks on some lights, I would highly recommend that you invest in something like the Aputure 120D. It's a very nice quality of light. That big softbox makes everything so soft and it helps wrap the light around your face. No crazy hard shadows or anything like that going on. If you invest in a light like this, your key light, because that's what everyone's seeing when they're looking at the subject, is this big nice key light. You could probably cheap it out on the lights in the background. You could go and buy more inexpensive or knockoff lights in the back and use these real nice lights to light your subject up in the front. As I move forward and I'm shooting more and more videos for my company with this light and more YouTube videos with this light, I'm sure I'll run across more things that either I love or don't like all that much. So get down there in the comments, let me know what you love about the light, what you hate about the light. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, sub, like, comment, all that stuff. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for sticking around.